having us. We love when we get to come to Fathom and see you guys. So I want to introduce Whitney to you. She's going to be presenting today on how to use AI to leverage your business. And just as like a quick intro for her, Whitney has been just incredible with marketing for our company, with making sure we're up to date on things related to AI and marketing ourselves and making sure that we have that presence. And so I'm thrilled that she would be willing to come present to you guys. I told her that this is just some of my favorite brokerage, my favorite people are at Fathom. And so we're really excited to just hopefully have this class help you figure out more of how AI can help your business as a realtor. So I will turn it over to Whitney.
Thank you. Okay, I'm Whitney. So like she mentioned, I am the marketing director for Houzd Mortgage. I've worked with Sarah for a couple of years and she is super awesome. And this year we took a training on kind of AI and the direction it's headed with helping real estate agents and mortgage brokers be able to kind of expand your digital footprint. So that's kind of where this came from. We were in if you've ever heard of Jason Pantama, that's who the training was under. It's a phenomenal course called AI Marketing Academy, and it's actually targeting real estate agents, and we just kind of took it and made it our own for the mortgage side. So after today, if you are curious, I'd love to point you that way. If you want to take his courses, they are amazing. So,
hey, Whitney, before everybody starts taking pictures of your slides, because I'm sure they will you provide us with a copy?
Yeah, I can send you a PDF version if you'd like as well, for sure. Especially.
You want 2 copies? You're welcome to take pictures.
No, as many.
I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have to take pictures.
No, I can forward one over for sure if you guys would like to keep it. So basically, according to the industry leaders like Bill Gates, Google, all of that, the direction we are headed is that all searches are going to start being completed on AI as we head into the future years. 50% is already going over to AI platforms, and within the next 5 years, they anticipate it's pretty much all going to go that way. Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I had my website company do a special, create a special link for me now, so that my clients can go in and click on my website and see all the ADUs. I had to have that specially written.
Yep.
And the way he did it is he went in and copied it, put it in chat GTP, whatever it is, and then pasted it, and he was done in seconds. I'm like, what the?
Oh yeah, the stuff that's been crazy that you can do now, it's so fast, yeah. So like I actually learned part of this program as well, is if you would have told me in high school that I would learn how to code, I would be like, no, there's no way. But I actually can do whole websites in under an hour with website code just using AI. And it's like super fast, super simple. It's crazy what you can do. So yeah, you can do stuff like that to benefit your websites, benefit your different platforms you're on. And all of that is going to go into leveraging your name, which is what this is about today. So that's a great example. So 1 in 5 Americans is already using ChatGPT every single day. I don't know about you guys, if you're not on it, maybe you're kind of more against AI. Hopefully if you're here today, that means that you're wanting to learn more about it. For me, I've definitely taken most of my searches over there. One of the great things about it is it's voice activated, so you can just ask it a quick question and get information so fast. So this is kind of where that statistic comes from of people. Obviously, day to day, especially newer generations coming up, we want things fast. We want things quickly. We don't want to type into Google how to find Fathom Realty, what the address is. We want to ask it and have it pop it up in 2 seconds because that's just how our information is coming to us these days. The faster we can get it, the faster we're, happy, can move on to other tasks in our life. So that is kind of the direction everything is heading.
It's interesting too that ChatGPT is AI is now teaching AI how to say it.
Yeah, and that's the nice part is if you have a question, you just ask it the question and it'll answer it for you, which is so crazy. So it's amazing. But basically, it's also brought in this new subcategory for marketing called AEO. So a lot of you are probably familiar with SEO, which is search engine optimization. Now there is AEO, which is answer engine optimization. So that's where you're going to optimize yourself for when AI, if someone jumps on chat and is like, who's the best real estate agent in Orem? you want your name to pop up. And that's going to come from your digital footprint, taking into consideration AEO, so that you are pulling higher when AI is searching the web to find out who the best agent is in Orem. You want your name to come up higher as a reliable source. So it's how you can be found and recommended through AI based off the credibility and your digital footprint. So basically, as far expansion you can get on digital is building that credibility that AI is looking for. For us, the AI opportunity, so it's being compared to the early days of Google. So when Google first came around, everyone kind of was like, what's Google? What is that? And think about it today. If you have a question you don't know about, if you have someone new that's like, someone recommended you and I looked you up on Google. Like that was the thing. Everyone Googles everything. Now it's you're asking AI everything. And so basically they're saying if you can establish yourself now within AI, in 5 years down the line, you're going to be lengths ahead of other agents who just aren't aware that there's this digital kind of opportunity that's coming about right now. So how to utilize it and how to implement it within your business. You want to create content with, you can use AI, which is great, but to position yourself as your expert in your local market. So the market that you want to target, for example. So the idea is to build your authority. So if you really like staying in, using Orem as the example, because that's where we are today. If you really like staying within the area, targeting different age or clients and things within Orem, you can do a lot of different things to target the Orem area. For example, blogs on your page. You can write about the top sales in Orem. You can write about events happening in Orem. You can write about UVU, because all of those terms are going to not only connect you to the area, but it's going to connect your name to Orem. So when someone goes on to ChatGPT and is like, who is the best real estate agent in Orem? Your name just pops up again and again when AI is running a search, because you're just connected to Orem over and over and over again. So the idea is it's going to boost your credibility within the area. So once you know the area you want to target, it makes it a lot easier to build that authority using AI. Something that is awesome that you can do if you are a ChatGPT user, there's a bunch of different AIs. Chat's my favorite. I feel like it's the easiest, fastest. It does lengths of things from image creation, document creation. You can take one flyer and make it into sub flyers, social media, all these kinds of things. Like you can make some really great stuff. The image back here was created through AI, but the funny part is people know it's AI, obviously, so you want to still put in your natural imaging, your things like that, your stuff you're using from housing tours. But when you're creating online content, it's pretty easy just to make whatever your heart desires using AI. And something that makes it super easy as well, there is a function within chat where it's a get to know you section. It's something that's also going to build authority within it. So basically you're going to add in your full name, your website, your phone, your Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, your blog, anywhere where you're online, you're going to put a hyperlink in there. Because when it starts to get to know you and your business and the things that if you specialize in a certain type of housing or investment properties or ADUs or different things like that, chat's going to know that. So if someone's looking for a very specific thing, the more info you feed it, the more when people look up that niche search, the odds are your name's going to pull up, which is super great. And it's super easy. It takes just a few seconds to put your information in there. But it, again, is just reinforcing your brand and your name within chat because we are still in the early stages of it. It's just learning. It wants to learn about you, your business, your name. Everything tied to your name online is very, very important, especially within AI. Something that we realized within the training that they'll teach you is there's actually an odd thing where AI, especially chat, has its favorite websites. It gives a lot of credibility to these websites that have been around for a very long time. One of them, a lot of you are already on, things like Yelp, things like homes.com, Utah Real Estate, obviously a big one. Another one that is so odd that we had never heard of, and it's called Fast Expert. And it's a free account that you can set up. And Fast Expert, for some reason, especially ChatGPT, loves to pull information from here as a credible source. And it truly thinks that if you have an account on here and you are ranked higher up, that is you are that. You are that person. Anything it says on there, it just believes it. And it really does quote it quite a lot in a search about yourself. So if you're not on Fast Expert, I highly recommend making a profile. It's completely free, and you can really select the locations that you want to target, which is awesome. For example, we are located in Draper, and when we originally looked up, after we discovered Fast Expert, we looked up who's the top loan officer in Draper, and it wasn't us. And our team is very competitive, and so after this presentation, everyone was like, put me on Fast Expert, put me on Fast Expert. So we all did it, and what's kind of funny is we kind of diversified ourselves. So Sarah, for example, is licensed in Utah and Idaho, so she was actually my first one that requested being put on both. So her profile is getting credibility in both Utah and Idaho, which has been interesting. So she's been slowly climbing those pages of recommendations. Whereas our two presidents of the company, Anthony and Carter, just want to target Draper. They've lived and grown up in Draper, the whole thing. That's kind of where their database is. So we put them at the top of Draper, added in some manual reviews for them. Within 2 weeks, we went back to check and they were at the top, which was crazy. So it just kind of like starts to learn from itself. And because we took the time to not just use the suggested bio, we went and wrote very specific bios for each of them using AI actually. And then we also diversified their locations around Draper, as well as you can manually put your Google reviews in. So you don't have to tell your clients, hey, leave me a review here. You can just take a couple minutes. It's really simple. Add over your reviews. We added about 30 for each of them. And then to be competitive, Anthony was like, put 32 in for me. And so he went up to number 1. So then we had one of our other team members, Ashley, also just as competitive. She had her assistant take a day and upload all of her reviews that she's ever had from the lifetime, which I just did not have time to do for the rest of the team. And she actually bumped those 2 down. And so now that she has like 80 reviews, she's number 1 recommended in Draper. So if you were to ask chat, who's the number 1 loan officer, her name would pull that much higher because it thinks that Fast Expert is just the authority figure. So I do recommend it. I'll show you a couple other examples in just a moment, but super easy, free account. Definitely can't go wrong just by one more digital thing that's explaining your business, putting some reviews on there, and showing which locations you're a part of. This is an amazing prompt. So this is the main takeaway that we had from our training. This is something that they developed, that this is basically how we found out all of this information. So basically you can copy and paste this, which is why if you'd like a copy of this, I can get it over to you. But you're going to open a new chat in ChatGPT. You're going to tell me, write, tell me about, I'll use Sarah as my example. Tell me about Sarah Paczynski at Houzd Mortgage in Draper, Utah. Specifically, how do they show up in AI search? What blind spots do you see in their online presence related to AI search? Based on what you know about the future of online search and the role of AI in it, what actions can they take right now as a loan officer to be discovered by more buyers and sellers and to dominate the customer intent AI searches? For example, you guys would move that word to real estate agents. So after running that, it's going to give you a load of information. And what's amazing is you can look through it, and if you're kind of like, oh, I see that, or I understand that, what I recommend is just telling it, give me a specific checklist that I can start checking things off, that I can increase my digital footprint. And that's what we did with each of our loan officers. So for example, with Sarah's, we did a search on her and it indicated there were a couple of accounts that were not updated. And so I sent Sarah a thing, was like, hey, if you could log into these and update them, that would be super great. LinkedIn's a huge one. If your LinkedIn's not updated, that's a really great one to take a peek at if you haven't in a while. Another example is Anthony. His last name is Van Dyke, and the V and the D are capitalized. AI did a search and said that Google's confused because half of his people write his name all lowercase after the V, the other half do a V and a capital D. So AI isn't thinking that's the same person. So basically we had to go in and find everywhere where his name was wrong and correct it. And within a couple weeks of correcting that, he jumped up in searches because it was able to be like, oh, that is the same dude. Because you have to think, AI's smart, but on that level, it's like, these could be 2 different people. Like, it just doesn't get it. So the more information you feed it along those lines, the better it's going to perform for you. And the nice part is like, for example, with his website, if there's something you want to do, you just ask it. Like I wanted to change, again, with the website coding, I wanted to change the background of our website and just uploaded the code and said, fix this color to be this. It gave me the entire code back, copy and paste, and you put it in. It's so simple. And if it doesn't know, it'll maybe ask you a few clarifying questions, but for the most part, it truly can do whatever you want. You just got to take the time to talk to it. But this is really, if you're interested in this and you want to see where you're showing up in AI search right now, I highly recommend giving this a try. It's really going to be a great jump off point to see what you can increase on your digital side.
So Whitney, like with that, would you recommend like first create an account with Fast Expert, create an account with ChatGPT, and then once you have that and have those things linked,
Yeah.
then you pose this
Yeah, you could definitely do that. One thing that is interesting, if you didn't do a Fast Expert first, you would probably see that it'll tell you like make a Fast Expert account. So I totally recommend, since you know about Fast Expert, might as well jump on it. And then when you do this search, it might tell you like, oh, your Fast Expert is already pulling you as the top 3 in Utah County or the top 2 in Orem. That's amazing. Like, here's how you can go further with that, you know? So yeah, that's definitely the course I would take. If you're not using ChatGPT, I definitely recommend it. Their free version's great. If you're looking to do more of the in-depth like imaging and flyer creation, I recommend the monthly subscription, but totally up to you. I'm on the free version and I can do a lot with it. So it's whatever you are wanting. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with Justin Udy. He's a real estate agent that we work with. And something that was interesting for us, he gave us a call that was just like, I got a listing from an AI search. They told me they got me recommended through AI. And we were like, oh, that's amazing, you know? Then he ended up, a buyer actually called him to view one of his listings from searching his name in AI. They just stumbled upon him. And he knew we were kind of researching into AI, and he was like, do you guys know how this happened? Like, because I'm super confused. Like, I know I've been working a while on my digital footprint and all these things, but like that's so crazy. And something that was interesting that we immediately went and looked up is that if you go to the top real estate agents in Utah, he pulls as number 7 with 166 reviews. So, and it also his experience, the sales, all of that. So yeah, he's just been on here for a while and has a ton of reviews that he's copied over. And basically AI has taken this, and because of certain words or whatever it was that these people that did the search it spoke to them and they reached out to him and he got some amazing deals from it. So that's just an example of people that we've seen in the real estate field that have really, you know, he didn't even mean to, but now he's definitely paying more attention to what he can do with it. And it really can benefit you because a lot of people are taking their searches to AI. And so again, it's in the early stages in the forefront. And if you can get in front of it and be one of those agents that people recommend, it can truly benefit you in the years to come. Something that we did, so this is, for example, this is Sarah's account. So Sarah has a ton of different areas that we're targeting for her. And then we took the time to write out a very specific bio for Sarah. And the thing about this is you can actually tell AI, hey, I'm setting up my Fast Expert account. I want to be known for this, this, and this, and I'm targeting this area, these types of buyers, these types of sellers, la 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 la. It'll write it for you. And you can actually go back and forth with it of like, ooh, I wouldn't say it like that. Or, you know, and something that I always love to tell it too, as you write this bio, keep in mind AEO and SEO. So that answer engine optimization and search engine optimization. And it will filter in those keywords that it really recommends to boost up your profile. So super simple to set up. And then as well, so I went ahead and just searched top agents in Orem. So you can kind of look here and see, I don't know if you guys recognize any of the names, but this guy, whoever's at the top right here, Red Sign Real Estate, 301 reviews. So another piece of it too, the more reviews you can get in there, it does benefit you as well in Fast Expert for some reason. It's just kind of their algorithm they follow. And then you'll notice here, the next one is Gene Tanner, 59. And then it drops off. And then it kind of plays off of like experience a bit and different things like that. So there are a few down here where they have some reviews and things, but the more reviews you can get, the better. And what's crazy, so there's another one, Justin Udy. He's not even in the area. He's actually up in Midvale, but he pulls for Orem because he's targeted himself that way. So something to think about and an easy profile to create if you're interested in kind of increasing that footprint and going from there. But I highly recommend it. Yeah, we're going to be giving you guys this presentation. So if you do want to try the prompt and things like that, give it a try, see what your name is like. Another thing that's really fun to do is go into an incognito Google search, type your name in, see if you pop up, see what pops up for you. That's where we kind of noticed a couple things for Sarah that needed to be updated. And it's kind of interesting where you can look and be like, ooh, my LinkedIn is out of touch, or oh, that random Instagram post pulls up for me. It's kind of fun and cool to see what pulls for you. And maybe if you, over the next few months, if you pay attention to your digital footprint and search your name again, then see what comes up. You can really increase what you are putting out there. Yeah.
That's a different one than ChatGPT.
The incognito. So that's just like a private, it's like basically it clears out your cache and cookies because, so for example, I do so much with Sarah's name and with Houzd Mortgage. If I search it in Google, it already attaches me to them. So it pulls them up higher for me as a suggestion because it knows that I already looked them up. I'm already associated with the website. An incognito window basically is just going to clear your browsing history. So it doesn't have any previous, I don't know exactly the word for it, but it doesn't have any previous knowledge of what you've been searching. So if I search Sarah in here, it's going to give me a non-biased look of what pulls up for Sarah versus when I look in my own Google, it's like, oh, we know you like Sarah, this specific Sarah. Let me give you everything we have about her. Versus if I look her up in here, it's like, oh, maybe this Sarah, and it can give me more of an unbiased opinion of what her highest ranking digital things are on Google, if that makes sense.
It does, but what if you don't want to clear all that out? You can still get an idea.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can always look it up. But like, for example, if I look up, let's see. So if I just look up Houzd right here, I get a lot of things that pulled up, right? And then I get this homeless housing counselors Houzd master leasing. That actually has nothing to do with our company, but it's interesting that on Google that pulls as the top result for us. So, but if I go over here to a new incognito window and type in Houzd, see, I have my sticky things on. Sorry, guys. So it still pulls it up because unfortunately I do have my location on when I'm on Wi-Fi away from the office, but it essentially wouldn't pull all of this if I had it set up right. But the idea is that it basically is going to be non-biased. So like, for example, if I were to search, who's one that I could search? I'll just do Carter. So if I was in my normal Google, this is someone that's on our team as well, he would have pulled up because it knows I'm in Utah. It knows I search him often. It knows I set up his Fast Expert account. But because I'm in a thing that has no research history on me, it pulled up this man, Carter Campbell, who I have no idea who it is. So, but something to note for Carter as he's increasing his digital footprint, like his name is going to compete with this name because that's how SEO works. But the nice part is if you were to type in, let's see, we'll just add Utah, for example. He's two of the top searches there. So, yeah. But that's just something that you can kind of mess around with and see what you're already showing up as, and then maybe different ways that you could maybe do more blogs or really target the areas you're wanting to target. Because maybe you are pulling for Salt Lake City and you're like, I don't feel like driving up there. So you really want to bring it back down here. I just recommend doing more online stuff about the Orem area or about Utah County as a whole so that Google, AI, all of it starts to recognize like, oh, they're a real estate agent, but they're central here. So, yeah. Are there any other questions I can answer before we wrap up? Oh, I cleared it out. Cool. Awesome. Well, I will forward this over to you guys.
Hold on. You gotta give us more time to think about our questions.
Sorry.
It sounds to me like a little bit of stuff that I've messed around with. It's, AI is just pulling information from
Other sources.
Other sources.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you really understand what's true and not true, what's valid and not valid?
You can
You
ask.
be pulling up inaccurate information and making that
Mhm.
part of the.
Yeah, so you can ask it, and you can even tell it too. So if it, like, for example, with that example of not understanding who Anthony was, be like, how do I fix that? Or like, why do you keep pulling up this random website about my name? And it'll tell you. And be like, okay, well, I don't want you to pull it up anymore. What do I do? And it might tell you, go delete this and this. Go remove your name from this, you know? And so that's the nice part, is if you're like, how do I know? You just ask it. And that's what's like so crazy about the direction we're headed, of like, if you don't know how to do something or you want something changed, you just ask it. And that's what's nice about it, but also can be a little time consuming. Because let's say it gives you a list of like 10 things. I'm sure you're all busy and you're not just on your computer searching your name all the time. And so what I recommend is maybe like once a month, take a Friday and just set some time aside to really look at your digital footprint and see what it's recommending on you. Because again, if you can take advantage of it now, you're just going to be that much further ahead as we keep heading more and more into these AI platforms. So yeah, nice. Yeah.
So I've been getting up early and playing with it because I love it. And
Yeah.
I don't set well, but when I get in front of Chat GPT, I don't want to leave it.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. But just for fun, I Googled something about my father.
Mhm.
If he was still alive, he'd be about 120, I think.
Mhm.
And it gave me the information about my dad.
Mhm.
And I was floored.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like really, and all I did was ask the question with his name, and it pulled it right up and answered me what I was
Mhm.
looking for.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And that's one of the advantages too, is like if it's something that might have taken you 4 or 5 hours to look up on Google, you know, if it was that deep
Go
of
back to
information.
genealogy.
Yes.
I would have had to gone back
Mhm.
in the genealogy
And look
search,
through it all.
and I just thought, well, I'm just for fun, I'm going to ask. And
Mhm.
it popped right up.
Yeah, and it's so crazy. It's bringing information so fast, which is why the idea is eventually normal day-to-day buyers, if they aren't already represented or they don't want to use their neighbor down the road who's like, I'll list your home. The idea is they're just going to pull up the phone and be like, hey, who's the top real estate agent here that can sell my home for this? They're going to pull up names. Another example that our training gave us was being super specific of like, my parents recently passed away. I'm in charge of selling their home. What real estate agent in Utah has experience with listed all these things. And it still pulled up 5 different agents in Utah, and it gave specific reasons from online searches why they would make a great fit for them. And it used keywords like that. So that's where I kind of mentioned, if there's something you're really passionate about or really want to be known for, whether it's a type of property, an area, things like that, that's basically how you can grow your digital footprint and really target those. So if that niche customer comes in searching, your name's going to pull really high for it. So
ChatGPT is the most well-known, the word that's being used currently for AI. There's a lot of other AI platforms out there, Claude, Gemini, etc.
Grok, yeah.
Are there things that we should be doing generically across the board in order to rank on all of those? Because at this point, the race is pretty much back and forth as to who's going to win this thing.
Yeah. You can definitely ask it. From the training we were in, kind of Chat GPT took the lead in most things because it's the one that when you ask AI, it's the first one everyone thinks of. Grok is next. Gemini is also pretty high up there. But the thing with those ones is they all have like a certain thing they're good at. If you ask Chat to make you an image and then you ask Grok to make you the same image, you'll actually be pretty shocked at how horrible Grok's is. And it's like, it misplaces fingers on the hand and things that at this stage in Grok you would be like, you don't know that humans have 5 fingers. So it's kind of like that idea where some of them are just more ahead in certain aspects. But you could, if you have the time, put that prompt in Grok. See if Grok gives you a different answer. Put it in Gemini. See if Gemini gives you a different answer. You never know. And all it is just more tools in your tool belt to help your name get out there more, especially as we head into this new digital age, you know? Another one too is Claude is all website code. So that's actually where we're learning our coding website and how we're able to do it so fast right now. For example, one of the things that we're able to do is build a landing page very quickly, Claude also can build really great emails. So something that we've been looking and kind of practicing is using Claude to build very beautiful looking, like as we're presenting loan options to clients, we put them in Claude and they're formatted in a way that is just so easy to read. And it's not just a written like option A, option B. It's just this gorgeous email that takes us about 5 minutes to code. It's crazy. So Claude is a great one for coding. And what's awesome about it is you go in chat or Grok and say, I want to tell Claude to do this. It'll give you specific things, copy and paste that to Claude. It'll spit out the code. So they all can also interact with each other. CLAUDE.
Is it thought of that ChatGPT is more for real estate, or like is there maybe Jeff, because you know so much about AI too, like which of those, because they all kind of specialize in something, and they're known to specialize in something. So with real estate, what like in the class, like what were the main?
The main ones everyone was on were Chat, Grok, and then Gemini was the other really big one because that's, I believe that one's Google's, if I'm being, yeah. I'm pretty sure that one's Google. So that's why that one's getting up there. There's one that Microsoft is doing. I can't remember the name off it. Top. Yep. See, he's got them all. But there's a lot out there. But again, it kind of shows that thing of like, now that one person's done it, everyone's like, oh, we could make one of those. We could make one of those. There's even platforms we're using. Like, for example, I made that on Canva. Canva now is like, oh, ask me how to make this better. And they have their own AI platform. I don't know where they're running it from. It could be the same servers as Chat or Gemini. See, there you go. So yeah, but it's Chat.
Based on ChatGPT.
Yes. Did I see a question over here?
Yeah. So are they typically staying like in their own lane as far as the search engines that they gather from, or are they using a compilation of all of them, or?
So I think they're using a compilation from what I know, but I think it's different things like from the back end of their abilities to like read them, if that makes sense. That's my understanding of it anyway. Unfortunately, I'm not a super expert on like how they're all operating. I just know they're coming down from like the things they're like reading, right? But for like the image example, the way that Chat is able to create an image is like different than the way Grok can. Like Grok, for some reason, in its image creation, wherever it's pulling the information from, its images are just like not as good as Chat's for some reason. I don't really know what it is, and it could just be that the way they set it up, it's just not a strong image creation at this time. But Chat is very strong and it actually has like a separate little thing that you can use for image creation. So it's just taken like leaps and bounds ahead of what Grok can do. But I think it's because it's the main target of like, that was the first one that most average people are on. So it's kind of just, yeah, grown. It's huge now and it's getting bigger, and they just launched like they have like Chat Go now. So it's like an $8 a month feature instead of the 20 or the 200 one. So it's just going to keep growing and growing. Like that just recently came out. And so they're going to just keep doing what they do. But yeah, it's definitely something that if you're not taking advantage of it, it's just one other thing that you should be, because you never know what could come out of it. And it's just one other marketing piece that is going to benefit your business. Yeah.
Is there concerns about publishing stuff that it does, that it creates, that your copyrights or infringements?
Not copyright. You can ask it. There's a thing that pretty much is like, whatever it does for you, you like own at that point to use because you created it within yours. Because I have looked that up before. But there is a thing where there is now a growing thing where Google's trying to combat it with, it's able to scan like a blog per se and be like, okay, AI wrote this. This is not a human that wrote this, because it's able to detect different language that's like, unless you were just keyword, there's no way a human would write in that tone or that direction or da-da-da. So that's actually another thing that you can do too, is as you're writing emails, or it's mainly like your online stuff, so your websites, your bios, you can tell Chat as well, be like, humanize this. Make this sound like I wrote it as much as possible, and it'll actually take down that reader where it can't tell if it's you wrote it or your Chat wrote it. So that is something that a lot of people are concerned about, because so many marketing people, even like myself, I was doing it. It makes blog creation so fast, and website creation, all of that. But something you can do is be like, okay, humanize this, make it sound more like me. And that's the idea, is that you don't want it to be eventually they're saying that if all your content is AI created, it's going to take you lower. But right now, that's not necessarily a thing, but in the future it could be. So they're saying get ahead of that as well, where if you're going to write a bunch of blogs, make sure you read through them. Don't just copy and paste. Like, obviously make sure it's your tone of voice, your, you know, like if it's just, again, keyword, 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 it's like, who talks like that? You still want, if your clients happen to stumble upon your blog, you want them to be like, oh, like get to know your tone of voice in your business, you know, versus just like, did you copy this offline? You know, so that is another little tip and trick that you could use if you are going to start generating AI content. Just ask it to humanize it. And that's a nice piece too of customizing your chat. The more it knows about you, your business, your personality, it actually will write more and more like your tone, which is kind of scary, but it's also kind of nice. It makes email creation pretty easy. So